Bhagavadgita, Adhyaya 5, Shloka 26. Kamakrodhaviyuktanam yatinam yatachetasam abhito brahmanirvanam vartate viditatmanam. A beautiful word for moksha, Brahmanirvanam. Brahmani Nirvanam, Brahmanirvanam. Finding happiness in Brahman. Finding fulfillment in Brahman. It is the true meaning of moksha. We find happiness in the anatma, in the material objects. As long as we seek happiness in the material objects, it is samsara, because the objects that we depend on keeps creating problem. Sometimes the object evades us, and sometimes the happiness evades us. Therefore, the true happiness, if one wants true happiness, it can be found only in Brahman, only in Paramatma. Therefore, moksha, the ultimate pursuit, the ultimate goal of human life, is to find the true happiness. And it can be found only in Brahman. Keeping this in mind, Bhagavan refers to moksha as Brahmanirvanam. Abhito Brahmanirvanam. A Brahmajnani, a Brahmavit, he finds Brahmanirvana here as well as there. Abhitaha, means Ubhayata. In Indian history, we hear a name, Ubhaya Bharati. Who was Ubhaya Bharati? Mandana Mishra's wife. Shankaracharya debated with the Mandana Mishra. His wife was called Ubhaya Bharati. She was also a great scholar. So, why she was called Ubhaya Bharati? I heard an explanation somewhere. The ladies, women, live in two houses. Initially, with their parents, father's house, parents' house. After wedding, after marriage, they go to their husband's house. So, generally, a woman lives her life in two different houses, in two different families, as it had been the practice in India and perhaps in many other parts of the world also. This Ubhaya Bharati was well known as a scholarly woman in both the families. And both the places. Perhaps after marriage, the woman goes to another place. In both the places, she had a very good reputation of being a great wise woman, scholarly woman. That is why she was called Ubhaya Bharati. Likewise, a Brahmajnani, he enjoys moksha in both places. Ubhayataha. What are the two places? While being alive, as well as after death. During his lifetime, it is one point, and after his death, it is another point. Both before death as well as after death, he enjoys moksha. He enjoys Brahma Nirvana. Before death, he is a Jivan Mukta, and after death, he is called Videha Mukta. If you look at an Ajnani, An ajnani is a samsari, both before death and after death. Before death, he is a samsari. All the time he is complaining. This has not happened in my life. I have not done this in my life. He has a never ending list of complaints. And he thinks after death everything will get over. Perhaps people have two ways of looking at death. One is after death I will lose everything. I will have to lose my family, relatives, all connections are snapped. I cannot contact my family members anymore after death because while dying we cannot carry our smartphone. So death is looked upon as a great loss. You are losing everything in this world. And when we think of death that way, it is quite saddening. But then there is another way of looking at death. After death, I might find peace. No more problems. My wife will not trouble me anymore. My children will not trouble me anymore. My ailing body will not trouble me anymore. So I will be peaceful. Death seems to be an end of all our problems. When we look at death from that perspective, death seems to be a solace, a relief. But unfortunately, it is not a relief as long as there is ajnana, as long as there is ignorance. Death is not a relief because punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, once again birth and once again death. Same cycle of problems once again. Same set of problems, or at least a similar set of problems. An ignorant being is entangled in a similar set of problems once again. Therefore, if we consider an ajnani a spiritually ignorant being, he is he suffers samsara both here in this life as well as after death, on both sides of death. In contrast with such an ajnani, a brahmajnani enjoys moksha. enjoys Brahma Nirvana even before death as well as after death. Therefore, Abhito Brahma Nirvanam Vartate Viditatmanam. Viditatmanam. Viditaha Atma Yaihi Te Viditatmanaha. The people of realization, the men who have realized the Atma, Atmajnani, enjoys Brahma Nirvana on both sides of death. Life or death do not cause a difference because he has understood that he is the Atma which transcends both life and death. The Atma transcends both life and death. Who has life? It is the Jiva. As long as there is ignorance, you think you are bound to this life, you are associated with this life. But in truth, you transcend your life. You transcend all the events of your life because your true self is free from time. The self is never time bound. It is nityam, ajo nitya shashvatoyam puranaha. Bhagavan has told in chapter 2, Atma is nityaha, ajaha, shashvataha, puranaha. By as many words, Bhagavan has conveyed that you, the Atma, is never time bound. You are free from time, you transcend time. Transcendence of time means transcendence of life and death. Transcendence of time means transcendence of life as well as death. Transcendence of every event in life. Because every event, if you consider an event, it is time bound. An event happens in time. An event is a function of time. And life is nothing but a series of events. Therefore, a Vedanti can boldly say, I transcend my life, I transcend life as well as death. Life is a series of events, and death is another event, just an event. Therefore, a jnani A Brahmavit transcends both life and death. Therefore, Abhito Brahma Nirvanam Vartate. He is free, whether during life or after death. From the body point of view, there is life and death. From the point of view of the Atma, there is no life, no death. The characteristics of such a jnani is described in the first half of the verse. Kama krodha viyuktanam. He is free from kama and krodha, free from desires. This has been mentioned quite a few times in Gita, right from chapter 2. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan parthamanogatan. A jnani is free from kama. There is no scope, there is no room for desires. Free from desires. We can draw a line between desire and preferences. What is preference? There can be preferences. I prefer coffee to tea. If I get coffee, it is better than getting tea. Somebody might say. So there can be preferences in life. A jnani can have preferences. Even if your preference is not fulfilled, you are not dejected because that is preference. It is okay if it happens in a particular way. Otherwise, I am not disturbed. That is preference. I prefer to live 100 years if it is possible. But suppose I die the very following moment. I am not going to be dejected. A jnani thinks so. He is ready for the worst. Whereas if you have a desire, it has to happen. Otherwise, there is dejection. My happiness depends on fulfillment of the desire. My fulfillment depends on the fulfillment of the desire. My completion, my completeness depends on the completion of the desire. When your completeness depends on completion of a desire, then it is samsara. That is why a jnani is free from desire. His completeness is not dependent on completion of any desire. Therefore, free from kama, free from desires, and free from krodha, free from anger, free from hatred. When there is no kama, there is no krodha also, because kama is the root of krodha. If the desire is blocked, it turns into anger, it turns into hatred. Therefore, free from kama and krodha. Yatinam yatachetasam. Since he is free from kama and krodha, his mind is restrained, mind is disciplined. A mind that is free from distractions, a mind that is free from impulsive behavior. To enjoy peace of mind, the mind should be free from impulsive behavior, free from turbulences. A disciplined mind is a peaceful mind. Yatachetasam yatinam. He is a yati. Yatate mokshartham iti yatihi. How did he get moksha? He got moksha because he got atmajnana, self knowledge. How did he get atmajnana? Did it come all of a sudden to him when he was sitting quiet, when he was not doing anything? It doesn't happen that way. Yatate, one should strive for atmajnana. No pain, no gain. It needs effort. Spiritual growth doesn't happen without effort. Effort for a long time. दीर्घकाल नैरंतर्य सत्कारा सेवितो दृढ़भूमि. For a long time, consistent effort. Such an effort yields its result in due course of time. And he becomes an Atmajnani, Viditatma, and thus he enjoys moksha. The following two shlokas are interconnected, 27 and 28. So we should read them together. स्पर्शान् कृत्वा बहिर्बाह्यान् चक्षुश्चैवान्तरे भ्रुवोः प्राणापानौ समौ कृत्वा नासाभ्यन्तरचारिणौ यतेन्द्रियमनोबुद्धिः मुनिर्मोक्षपरायणः विगतेच्छाभयक्रोधः यः सदा मुक्त एव सः. These two verses are about a new topic that will be elaborated in the following chapter, chapter 6. Chapter 6 is about meditation, dhyana. Therefore, chapter 6 is called Dhyana Yoga, the chapter dealing with meditation. Now, in Shloka 26, Bhagavan said, Yatinam Yatachetasam. One should make effort for moksha. What kind of effort? One of the efforts is in the form of a particular type of meditation. We should understand the purpose of meditation in the pursuit of jnana, in the pursuit of self knowledge. There is a misconception regarding meditation. In fact, there are many misconceptions. One of the misconceptions, meditation leads to realization. Meditation leads to realization. Meditation produces realization. In fact, it is not true. It is not told anywhere in the Shastra that meditation leads to realization. Because what generates knowledge. The means of knowledge. In Sanskrit, means of knowledge is called pramana. A pramana gives rise to a knowledge. A valid knowledge is a result of a pramana. For example, if I have to see the color in front of me or any form that is in front of me, any visual in front of me, I have to make use of my eyes, my chakshurindriya, because chakshureva pramanam rupadarshani. To see color, to see a form, to know a color, to know a form, eye is the pramana. Chakshurindriya is the pramana. Likewise, to know the self, to know Brahman, what is pramana? Vedanta Vakya, the statement of Vedanta taught by a guru is the pramana. That is why in chapter 4, Krishna has clearly stated Upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. The knowledge is received only by means of Upadesha, teaching, teaching the Vedanta. Vedanta Vakya. Therefore, meditation is not the means for self knowledge. Meditation does not lead to self knowledge. Therefore, do not expect to sit under a tree with the closed eyes and to find enlightenment in due course of time. At some point, enlightenment will dawn if I sit under a tree. It does not happen. Then, what is the use of meditation? Meditation is meant for correcting our thought patterns, correcting our habitual thought patterns. Rectification of the habitual thought patterns. When we repeatedly think in a particular way, it forms a habit, a thought habit. Let's call it a thought habit. We have many thought habits, many habitual ways of thinking, many habitual thought patterns. And many of these habitual thought patterns are unhealthy. Why they are unhealthy? Because they make you a samsari. Certain thought patterns make me a samsari. That is why, from the Vedanta point of view, from Bhagavad Gita point of view, they are unhealthy. Such thought patterns need to be rectified. How to rectify them? By entertaining, by cultivating new thought patterns. When we cultivate healthy thought patterns, healthy thought habits, they replace the unhealthy thought habits. For example, I am incomplete. It is a thought habit because for ages, for many janmas, we have been thinking of ourselves as limited beings, limited individuals, confined to the body. But this thought habit is unhealthy because it makes us a samsari. As long as there is limitation, one cannot be happy. Therefore, I am limited. This thought habit, which has formed for ages, it is unhealthy. It is opposed to the Vedanta. It is opposed to the vision revealed by Vedanta. Vedanta reveals you are complete, you are infinite, you are Brahman, the infinite. But our habitual thoughts make us think I am limited. Now, this problem has to be solved. My habitual thought, my thought habit, I am limited, has to be rectified. It has to be replaced by I am infinite. The understanding of my completeness has to form a thought habit in me. That is when it is useful. That is when it yields its result. And how to convert the knowledge, the understanding, into a thought habit, into a healthy thought habit. It is accomplished by means of dhyana, meditation. Therefore, meditation is used to rectify the unhealthy thought habits, to replace the unhealthy thought habits with the healthy thought habits. To replace the thought habits that are opposed to Vedanta with the thought habits that are in accordance with Vedanta. With this purpose in mind, Bhagavan is teaching the meditation technique. How to meditate. There are some preparations. The preparations are very important because it is preparation that makes your mind available for meditation. What is preparation? Preparation is to make your mind available for meditation. When you have to do something, first of all, one should ensure that certain things are available for the process. You are teaching a child. Most of the time, teaching a child becomes a difficult task. Why? Because the child is not available for teaching. So, first of all, a teacher has to make the student available for teaching. So, please pay attention. That is why in Gita also, Bhagavan repeatedly tells Arjuna, Shanu, please listen. Likewise, if you are meditating, first of all, ensure that your mind is 100% available for meditation. How to make the mind available? There are some techniques. First of all, स्पर्शान् कृत्वा बहिर्बाह्यान् चक्षुश्चैवान्तरे भ्रुवोः स्पर्शान् कृत्वा बहिर्बाह्यान्. Leave the external objects outside. Bahyan sparshan, the external objects. Bahihi kritva, keeping them out. The external objects are outside. Then why Bhagavan has to say, keep them out? Because they enter inside. They enter our mind through the senses. Sometimes they enter through the senses, and sometimes they enter in the form of memory, sometimes they enter in the form of imagination. The present objects, they enter through senses. The objects in the past, they enter in the form of memory. And the future objects, they enter our mind in the form of imagination. So we have to keep the mind away from all outside objects, past, present, and future. It is a big task to accomplish. One has to withdraw the mind. Withdraw the mind from everything. By withdrawing the mind from the objects, the mind is made available. When the mind is engaged in some thought regarding some object or some event, it is not available. So withdraw the mind from the objects. Withdraw the mind from everything that does not concern the theme of meditation. A meditation has a theme. If you are meditating on Shiva, Shiva is the theme. Everything related to Shiva, it is the theme of meditation. So mind has to be kept away. Mind has to be withdrawn from everything that is not associated with the theme of meditation. Therefore, spend some time in the beginning to withdraw the mind and make the mind free and available. Chakshushchaivantare bhruvoho. Literally, this means keeps the eyes in the middle of the eyebrows. Bhruvoho madhye, between the eyebrows. Chakshuhu, the eye should be kept in the middle of the eyebrows. Means eye should see straight in the middle of the eyebrows. This should be understood properly. We have to understand two things from this. First of all, Madhusudana Saraswati says, if the eyes are fully open, then there is a chance of distraction. Something may appear in front, and then it will be a distraction. If the eyes are fully closed, then there is a chance of falling asleep. Also, there is a possibility of pressure on the eyes if the eyes are fully and rigidly closed. Therefore, the eye should be half closed, not fully closed, but almost closed, softly closed. It is one point. And another point, the eyeball should be in a resting position. There should not be any muscular pressure on the eyeballs. When they are on a resting position, it will look as though the eyeballs are looking towards the middle, almost the tip of your nose, when they are in a resting position. So they are kept at such a position where they are as though looking at the tip of the nose or the middle of the eyebrows. Two eyeballs will almost converge. The line of vision of the two eyeballs will as though converge. So that is the idea. Chakshushchaivantare bhuvoho. Keep the eyes almost closed and let the eyeballs remain in a resting position without actively gazing at anything. We'll continue this in the following session. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ